Utter.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Kevin, right now there's two guys who have kind of separated themselves that would be in the chase because of the bonus point situation. For in your situation where you have a win, but for even there's several guys who don't have any. These last 10 races, do you try to focus more on getting the bonus? Is there some danger in letting one or two guys get too far away in the bonus situation?
Well, I think obviously like I said earlier, I think we need to win a race or two before the chase gets started. That would be the optimum position to be in. But I've said this all along. It's winning races is great, but you can't win or finish 30th, and you have to have that middle ground somewhere. When you have bad days, you can't make them disasters. You got to be able to rebound and make something out of those days and get some points out of them. So I think there's a lot more to it than winning. Obviously we don't want to be 30 or 40 points behind, but we'll see.
A quick follow-up. Having won at Talladega, does next week bode as a good chance for possibly another one for you?
Yeah, I feel like we had a chance to win the Daytona 500 and obviously won the shootout and lost the qualifying race by about 6 inches. So, Daytona's been a really good racetrack for us. So we go there with the intentions of having a chance to win, but it's still restrictor plate racing. So you go there and it's still a crapshoot as far as how it all turns out. So really, other than Michigan, we've run well pretty much every week. So we just got to keep doing what we've been doing.
Steve.
Steve Ballard, Indianapolis Star. Kevin, you said you bring out a new generation car at Indy. Could you expand a little bit on what all that entails and why?
Well, Indy is just like Daytona. Everybody wants to win that particular race, and for us last year, that was kind of where the turnaround started. With our new cars, and the engine department always brings out the next generation of horsepower that's been approved, and so everything is just your latest and greatest, best stuff that you have in the production line, and you go out and try to win the race. So that's just where our team has always brought our new stuff out every year.
Bob.
Bob Parker, Scene Daily. It's been a month since the announcement that you'd returned to RCR. Do you feel like there's been any progress in the sponsor search, and do you feel like anything will come to fruition soon?
I'm not worried about it. To be honest with you, I think everything's fine. So, I think everything's fine.
What else for Kevin? Mark, sorry.
Mark Yarrow, PRN. Kevin, just talk a little bit about Daytona. They're going to repave it after this race. How much are you going to miss the humps, bumps, and jumps that you guys have been dealing with?
Yeah, that's I know it's time, and I know that you have to do what you have to do because obviously there's a lot of issues that must be underneath for them to decide to repave it. So we're going to miss the handling issues that you have at Daytona and all the things that you always fight, and then we'll go back to. It'll be a lot like Talladega with a much narrower surface than what we have at Talladega. But hopefully it'll eventually get back to, having some bumps, and it usually does. Talladega's kind of been the one racetrack that really hasn't changed a whole lot. It's just it's all about speed, and that's going to be what it's going to be like at Daytona. It's going to be bring your fastest car and not worry about handling. Just play the chess match and see what happens.
Anything else for Kevin? Utter has a follow.
Somebody emailing you those questions?
No. Last week there were, at the end of the race, a lot of people who were unhappy with each other. I don't think you were one of them that was involved in any of the tussles, but did you pay much attention to what was said or went on, and do you expect to see any of that carry over in Sunday's race?
I went back and watched the race, and it looked like the majority of them had the 24 involved, and I saw the 20 get dumped again for running to the side of somebody. So that one hasn't changed, but I think it was just good racing. Honestly, I think it was probably one of the most exciting road course races that I've watched, and I think the double file restarts create a lot of that. And the tire fall off creates the other part of that. Just when the tires fall off like that, you have so many different strategies, and I hope everybody was paying attention. You have so many different strategies that people pit and don't pit, and then you have cars passing each other and staying out, and you have a whole bunch of things going on. So, I think the tires falling off had as much to do with that as anything, and the double file restarts promoted a lot of that. So, rough racing. I like that kind of racing. I think it's great.
Parkhurst again.
To follow up on that, do you have to be aware of who might be angry with who this week from last week, or does your spotter tell you, hey, give these guys, watch out, these two guys might be angry from last week?
You just assume that everybody's angry at everybody. After that race, it'd be hard to keep track. We'd have to. Yeah, there's so many to tally up after last week. It'd be hard to keep track of what's going on. So, you just go out and you race. You race hard, and if something happens, something happens. But if something's going to happen, you can pretty much tell what's going to go on. So you just keep your eyes open.
Anything else for Kevin? Nope. Kevin, thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.